Hello, everyone. I think that we are not that numerous and just meet each other. I was asked to talk not so fast because we have 45 minutes. I don't know if it makes sense, but I hope that you won't regret you came to my presentation. So I'll be walking around here so that you can see me. And before I start with my actual topic, let's start with who I am. I'm Arsenii, and all my life is connected to games. My first game was KVN. It is a multiplayer game. It's a freemium, but everyone donates a lot, and the big boss you have to make the big boss laugh and not to kill him. But while speaking seriously, first I've been in the industry, in the gaming industry, in the company Gameland that had it had a website, it had a magazine, and there I learned for the first time how a console differs from the PC, what multiplayer games are, and the Gameland was the place where I encountered the games more closely when I've been at the team who sold the first integration with the Happy Farmer. It was a collaboration with the Ural SIP Bank. 2009 was a boom of social games. Everyone learned that it was a huge industry where you can extract a lot of money from the players. And I was, together with my colleagues, monetizing the apps not only through the users but also through ad integrations. When we're talking about integrations, I'm not talking about banners, but I'm talking about large content stories. These were economically sustainable until some time, but then vanished into thin air. Next, I've been the development director in a socialist company and been doing a lot of integration with the social games and with mobile games for some part, but economics did not match the actual financial conditions. And in 3 years, I've been the CEO of the Tigermilk. What we do, we are a multi-channel media company. Modern people are lazy. They don't want to do a lot, and today's model is to push users to their own website through banners, through links, and this is kind of disturbing for the users. Our concept is different. We create content and we place it into your feeds of a social network. So we're coming to the user into their feeds and not make them come to us. But wait, we're talking about games, right? A problem which I see, which I frequently encounter when talking with people from the gaming industry who are interested in social networks and our products in terms of product promotion. The social networks are traditionally seen as a source of traffic. It was like this 5 years ago or so, but now I would like to argue and say it is not true, because the world has evolved a lot since then. The conditions changed, the platforms changed, and it became even more complicated. People are now lazy, are fed up with content. The people, users, players can be nice, but it is not enough just to tell them, look, a cool game is now released. They won't be downloading a game once. It does not work like that. Most of the times, I'm sure that if you only want to extract traffic from the social networks through posts, this is a very dubious strategy in 90% of all the cases. What can be done in a beautiful way, what can be done a lot, and what can be done cheaply? Well, you have to choose two of those characteristics. The instruments are really different to achieve those three results. It must be that way. This is Malevich, this is a black screen. If we speak about the beauty, to make something beautiful, you have to have a large concept activation or something. If you want to achieve a lot of installs, you have to choose several partners and they will cover all your requirements. And if you want to make these installs cheap, you have to try hard, because you have to arbitrate traffic for this and filter a lot of traffic sources. Very important thing which has changed over the last years, what has influenced the way and why we cannot just buy several posts and achieve a lot of traffic through the social network. The reason is that the platform exerts a lot of more influence on the traffic than previously. Currently, if you want the traffic, pure traffic, you have to contact the platforms directly. That's the mail.ru, it's Google or someone else, because it's they who can provide the dimension of traffic you want. This greatly reduces the complexity, but increases the costs. That's their business model. That's the business model of the platforms. They auction the traffic and they want to get as much as possible from it. And so we're talking today about some other models different from just buying several hits to the download page. You have to be creative. You have to have a creative concept, because only being creative helps achieve a wow effect in terms of it's cool and it's really cheap or economically viable. Do you know what that is? Do you know what this is? This is the first ad banner on the internet ever. It looks disgusting, but nearly everyone who saw it clicked it. This was really something new. It flashes and it says, click here. You are not used to it, so you'll click. But today, the CDR is below the statistically negligible rate. If you have a very outstanding creative, you can achieve something more, but normally people just do not notice that. And it is very much similar with the games now. Games are a product now. They do not have a wow effect. With a Happy Farmer, a social game, was a revolution. Although a game was very simple, speaking mildly. Now, the most sophisticated games are not wonder anymore. So we are now entering the new stage of a game's promotion. And it is very much similar to what happened with FMCG market. Fast-moving consumer goods, shampoos, detergents, things you use every day, where the differences between the brands are tiny, and when the detergent first emerged, you only had to say you can use it to wash your clothes fast. This had a wow effect. Now this is a must. Every detergent is the same. And to differentiate one between another, a whole pyramid of the marketing is built. To 90%, this is the same case with games. Games are not very much different. There are some breakthroughs. Once a year, every 2 years, everyone plays the game and everyone creates the clones. It's basically the same what a FMCG market looks like. So it's now time to behave like an FMCG product. So the concept is the first thing you should do. I'm not teaching you how you make games. I'm just making a short introduction to the promotional stage. So concept, next working on the image, and then the distribution. The social networks previously were used only as a distribution platform. End of story. Because it does not matter how the concept is. The image also did not matter. However, it's now time to understand that the social networks as a space, social platforms, are basically platforms which can be suitable for all those three aspects I mentioned. And a concept often decides concept rules, and this can be built not based on some lab experiments, but on insights. I would like to show you an example, not connected with the games, but it shows really clearly how and why you should listen to people in social networks. There was a story with Pepsi. Well, like Pepsi, everyone knows the brand, right? But you always have to promote the brand so that people buy Pepsi. The healthy food is now in trend, so you have to promote a very not very sugar-free beverage. Michael Jackson has been the face of Pepsi for years, and 2013 was the 25th anniversary of his first album, or of an album of Michael Jackson. And there were limited Pepsi can editions. Russia was not planned as this site for those limited edition cans, because the large corporation decided that, based on market studies, it was not necessary here. But a girl has seen this limited edition can abroad and wrote a message, a post to the public group in Pepsi. Your call is very important to us, was the answer, but no, we won't have this promotion. Then she went to the Michael Jackson fan page, and the fans, they just bombarded the official Pepsi page and contacted, so that the corporation introduces those limited edition Pepsi Michael Jackson cans. The focus groups again showed that it will not be a success, but it turned out that it was. And what we proposed to Pepsi was a promotion, 100,000 likes for Michael. And if it's the case, then you'll promise to produce a limited edition case. Well, Pepsi actually decided to produce them, but those 100,000 likes were achieved in 4 days. and the cans disappeared really quickly from stores after they have been printed. The cans just vanished in seconds. And this is a huge example why you should listen to people, what matters to them. You can invent and promote products and sell products which are wanted by your consumers. Another examples as well. Another case. There's a project in the social networks. It's called Overheard. People share anonymous stories and social networks. Now they have mobile apps, a whole ecosystem was developed around that. So it's a brand, Overheard, with a loyal audience on social network. And the creators wanted to rate an app. Well, a trivial game. 2016, that's what they wanted to create, Trivian. The Fruits was the name of a game, and was somehow related to this Overheard project. The mascot was there, some elements were integrated, like getting a level brings you a secret story shared by others. So the gameplay was quite primitive, but reached the top of the Russian App Store. AliExpress was top 1 in the overall App Store top. So this Fruits game did not reach the overall top, but reached the top of a game. So the audience of the Overheard public pages and social networks created this hype. You could say, okay, if we had millions of subscribers, we could achieve that success as well. But this is not only what matters. Another case, Broccoli Games. There was a team which normally did some public pages, some communities, moderated some communities on the social networks. And they then were disappointed by the whole industry and started building games. These games, what they developed first was moderate success, but their main disappointment was that they could not convert traffic from their own projects. I was in a conversation with them when the game app project first started, and they managed to convert only thousands of their subscribers out of the 20 million they had on social networks. So it's not a linear, it's not a direct process. You cannot simply convert people by showing them a banner and telling them to click here. The approach and the concept is what matter. And just to confirm what I've said, this Overheard project recently published a text quest which has also reached the top 1 on the Russian App Store, with over 100 installs in several days. So times are changing, but what I'm telling you is true. An innovative tool should be combined with an innovative creative. So this is what I'm asking you. Do not see the social networks purely as a source of cheap traffic. First, because it's not true. if there is a lot of traffic, the platforms won't let you buy it cheaply.
So, do not perceive this story as a source of traffic. It is a good environment for marketing, communication, for activity and for research. It's a very interesting thing. So, I think it is possible to make promotional projects through social media, and it is possible to get a nice KPI, but it's not that easy because gaming is not the first industry that faces that, and we live in the epoch when game marketing will be growing and getting more important. Today, I won't be talking what tools are needed for video, for posting, for making gifts, and because all that is developing very fast, and in 2 months it might be obsolete. But you should you should view this environment not as a traffic generator only. How media will be developing? I'm of the opinion that media is getting something similar to pizza. There are hungry people who want to be fed, who want to be given something to read, to look at, two approaches, and that's what media are infamous for. Some media are saying we are cool, we are great, and people will come to us ourselves. And well, it is compared to the concept of boutique pizza house, and they've got a schedule for their customers for years. And there are different approaches when a pizza is delivered to your doorstep, and it might be arriving to your door within half an hour after ordering it. That's what is happening with the mass media, and mass media will be trying to adapt to the audience, and they will not be living based on the stereotypes. So media content is just like delivering content is similar to delivering pizza, and I think you should make use of this notion to achieve your purposes. That's what I meant to say. Thanks for your presentation. Any questions? Or time for us to go to have our lunch. Good afternoon. You have shown a nice picture at the end, Pizza Hut, but which strategy do you think will be better? If I customize a person at 8 to see my video, or I tell them, you got used to see video at 8 o'clock or at the 8 if I give them hot stuff. Are we talking about any specific channel? I'm talking about my own channel where I have news. And well, how to deliver content on this news channel? Well, the good news is that we are not on TV. If they miss your hot news, they can see it sometime later, not necessarily at 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. or they can see it later, not just like on TV. And when we are talking about hardcore video services like YouTube, where chronological flow makes people to open the channel at this particular time, or to connect a push, and those people are good for you. If you can maintain this kind of schedule, you should stick to it. But I would rather be more flexible. because it happens that sometime when the decision was taken to deliver hot news at 8 a.m. and nobody's questioning it. Maybe it's time to start showing it at the 3 a.m. in the morning. They're not afraid to experiment and try to see it on the other modes, but the habits are very good for marketing. Why not instilling habits in your customers? Good afternoon, Dennis. And how do we arrange research properly to look for queries open? I don't think I will be able to say anything new. It's a very broad question. It depends on what type of research. It is how to find the audience in the media. Who is your target audience? Because over here I'm supported by the logic at the marketing RPG. If you have a hypothesis that mummies will be playing my game on their maternity leave, they've got nothing else to do, and so you're looking for that audience, you're looking the profile, you see what communities they sign up for, and then you are looking through their profiles. And if it is not justified, you will have to restructure it, and it will turn out that, say, male bikers are playing your game. Then you should restructure it. It might happen. What I mean to say that that's the challenge for the new industries. It is the window of opportunities and the challenges, because initially there are some things that work fine, but they should not work. And it works in the games and in all the other industries. But then those things become trivial and it doesn't work anymore. And of course the marketing games have a specificity, but they become similar to what are the marketing products. Advertising on TV is everyone got accustomed to it, and so no difference in the media. There's no super specificity, whether we are making research for games or shampoos, and the mass media are suitable for both things. I don't know whether I managed to answer your question. Yes, thanks. You have answered my questions. Are you familiar with the virtual reality market and what you think about it within the gaming industry? Superficially, as a user, and my stance in life is I do not like extremes. I acknowledge trends only when they're obvious. There are both benefits and drawbacks with that approach, and I think it is just a cool game with a high potential, but I don't know what the potential would be and when it will be fad. If you have an extra millions, then you should try to do something about it, or you are a believer, and in that, if you're enthusiastic and champion, then you might raise millions to do it. Thanks for an interesting presentation. I like your term applying fast-moving goods applied to games, because games is that kind of fast-moving consumer goods. And if there are people that have been playing Dunes 2 and they are adults and they don't write about themselves in Facebook, but there are many millions of that kind of guys. Are there any techniques when it is possible to collect and to cover that kind of latent audience? Is there any need to bring them together? Because my opinion is that social network, though they give good opportunities to build social links, they shouldn't be passive literary. You can give a common hook. It's not just bringing them together into one community and to build a group. I do not mean that. What I mean is how to target that kind of people, because they are present over there. They are available. They exist somewhere. But how can we structure that kind of people? Okay, if we base on the banal things like the feature is playing Dune 2, I think we should act in the following manner. We should find some kind of hook or code word, buzzword that might identify that kind of guys. Something, some catchphrase or some kind of meme. Because people that have been playing Counter-Strike, they respond to a certain phrase. It is still with them. I know it about myself, because if I hear something, I know that, well, that's the buzzword from the Counter-Strikes. And so you should make that kind of hooks and try to cast the line, and then you will see how the people are responding to the bait. And then when you see that kind of people, they are lookalikes, so will help you to bring in the other ones. There are also foolproof things. Take Steven Seagal, and you will have a cultural layer that feel attributed to Steven Seagal, and it's well, trying to free a ship from the bad guys, etc. And if you catch 5, you will learn more about that. They will bring you 50 more, and you will be extrapolating your experience, something like that. Okay, any other questions? Subjective question for you personally. What do you think was the most important marketing case in the past year? What did you like most? I will tell you, just like a customer, I like the Steven Seagal one, and it just attracted my attention. I said that, well, yes, that is cool. I paid attention to that, and I didn't start playing the game, but because I do not perceive myself as a gamer, but I'm just analyzing things in the industry, and I understand when they did that, I realized that it is very expensive, but it is cool. Any other questions? Okay, thanks for your great presentation.
here with another one of the participants on 4C. Hi, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jean-Philippe Morel from Ubisoft Montreal. I'm working on Rainbow Six Siege.
Very nice. What was your first video game ever? Do you remember it?
Oh my god. I did a port of a very... Oh no, I don't want to talk about it. It was called War Chess. I don't know if anyone knows about it, but it's just a port of a PC game to console game on PS2 like 15 years ago. But my first real game, I would say, was I worked on Prince of Persia, several Prince of Persia at Ubisoft.
That's very nice. What was your first video game that you've played?
Oh, the first that I've played? Oh. On the Atari 200. I don't know if I say it correctly in English. It was called Smurf.
That's an old one.
Yeah, it's a real old one. Yeah, it's an old one.
And well, now that the time has passed, what's your favorite video game of all time? Do you have one?
Of all time? Oh my God, that's a good question. I would say I spent a lot of time playing Unreal Tournament a while ago, but yeah, Unreal.
The very first one?
Yeah, the very first one. Yeah.
Absolutely. What led you to the video game industry? How did you come here?
Oh, it's a technical challenge. The technical challenge is I first wanted to make graphics, but I realized that was not really my thing. I like to build machines, like machines that can scale, that can live for a long time. The technical challenges in video game industry is...
now that you're in it, what's your favorite thing about the industry? What do you like most about it?
It's the same thing, exactly what I said. It's building machines, building bigger machines, machines that scales. I'm not even that interested in the nature of the game. That may disappoint you, but it's more the machine that I'm building that interests me. And I have a lot of creative people around me to make some good games.
So it's the technical side of things that you're into?
Exactly.
All right. So anything you particularly don't like about the modern state of the industry, maybe?
I worked with really big teams. It's not really that I don't like them, but I prefer some smaller scale team, probably. But that's the first thing that comes to my mind. What else? Oh, that's pretty much what I'm thinking about now.
Fair enough. Let's make some predictions. What do you think will be the new thing, the new big thing, the new trend in the gaming industry in like 10 years' time?
Oh, in 10 years' time? Well, I won't say it's new, but I think there will be more and more games that lives for a very long time, that evolves, that over time, and I think that's a trend that will continue over the next years.
Do you think it will be like a breakthrough point through some game, or it's just going to be like a slow progressional evolution into this state?
I think it's going to be a slow evolution, and I think it's going to be a slow evolution mostly because we need to adapt to that kind of mentality in the game industry, and
fair enough. If you had absolute creative freedom, which I don't know, maybe you have, but still, like absolute creative, financial, professional freedom, what game would you like to have made?
I will keep that secret, if you don't mind.
We almost had an announcement here.
I have good ideas, but I will keep that for myself.
Okay, but that's a secret then. Is it a secret on what do you think is more important in games, like graphics or gameplay, or maybe the storytelling?
No, I think it's everything is building a community and make it that community grows and grows and grows, and make that community grows over time, and so we can build on that for many years on the same kind of titles.
Okay, great. Let's return to the real world for a second from video games. We're in St. Petersburg. What do you think about the city?
Oh, we had a good time yesterday. I was just trying to find good place to go, and it's awesome. We had a tour of the whole city. We had a boat trip. It was awesome. It was awesome, really.
Right. What about the event itself for C? I know it just started, but still, any impressions?
Oh, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the talk Friday and Saturday. I want to know more about, like, what people think about the future of gaming industry.
Maybe something specific you're looking forward to, some specific speech or lecture?
Yeah, I'm very interested about monetization. How monetization, I told you I like big machines, build big machines, and monetization is something that we need to learn a lot. How it works, how we integrate that to game, and I'd like to see how other developers are doing that. Some massive online infrastructure. Also, I want to see. I want to hear more about that. How people are doing that.
If you were interviewing yourself right now instead of me, what would you ask yourself?
At what time is the party? Saturday?
Well, I guess you'll have to answer this question yourself. Either way, I have you have a great time at the party, and you have a great time at the event itself. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you very much.
We keep catching our speakers in the hallway and putting cameras in front of them. Hi, please introduce yourself.
My name is Samuel Ranteskla. I work for Microsoft as a principal program manager out of Sweden.
Okay, Samuel, so let's talk about games. What's your favorite game?
Well, I wish I played a lot more games than I actually do. So I have to go back into the past. Like, one of my really favorite games is Jag the Lions 2 from like 92, 93. I think it was made here in Russia, if I'm not mistaken. Civilization, always been a big fan of that. And then the Enemy Unknown UFO trilogy from the 90s. There's so many games, I mean, it's like impossible to select one. But they're all strategic games, the ones that are my favorite.
Yeah, you're obviously a tactician. That's commendable. But do you remember the very first game you've ever played?
Decathlon, probably on the x86, somewhere around 84.
Wow, that's... I don't even remember that one.
It's like you basically play Decathlon and you just hammer at the keyboard to go faster, like 10 different sports events. Played it like crazy. I was 8 years old then.
Wow. How did you get into the gaming industry?
It was by chance, actually. So I was studying at Uppsala University, doing computer science, and they had this fair where companies were meeting the students. And there was these two guys that they've started a game company in the basement, and they wanted somebody to write a BSP tree, binary space partitioning tree. And I was looking for my thesis, so I figured let's combine those. So I joined them, I wrote my thesis in the games industry, and then from there on kind of like just went on. So this was 2000.
But now in 2017, what's your favorite and least favorite thing about game dev?
I mean, I think the games industry is awesome. Great place to work. There's so much passion. There's skilled, very intelligent people. I think that's my favorite thing. The least favorite thing is that, which I covered in my speech a little bit, I think that we're looking a little bit too much at how do we turn time into money, rather than seeing like how do we educate our kids. I really want to, that's my passion myself, is like take this experience, make our kids better tomorrow than they are today. I'm a parent as well, so that's coming from that.
Well, that's a very noble thing to do.
I don't know if noble, just I think it would be a good thing for us.
Definitely is. About your speech, did you have any interesting questions that maybe stood out?
Yeah, there was some interesting questions, like if we look at mixed reality, what's going to happen with that? What's the dangers with that? I couldn't really answer them because let's see what happens.
But if you were a part of your own audience, what question would you like to ask yourself?
That was a tricky one. Are you sure that you're right?
Are you?
No.
Well, we can be sure 100%, but still, we're trying to foresee the future here. How do you like the conference?
Love it. St. Petersburg, great place, wargaming, excellent hosts. It's a great place to be. You should come to the next one.
Definitely do. Say, if you had the chance to go back in time to when you just started working in the industry and give yourself one advice, what would it be?
Try one of your ideas out.
That's very good. Thank you very much, Samuel. I hope you like the conference. Thank you.
Thank you.